what is the point of even voting?
Yeah.
What is the point of even caring about what's going on here when our people are struggling?
Is it similar in Lebanon where it's, families just all around you
Yep,
everywhere and
100%.
everything goes
Yeah,
down with
so
them?
when you go to Lebanon, if you go to like Beirut or like Tripoli, Trablus, those are more like westernized cities, I want to say.
Yeah.
People, like young people living in apartment high rises, things like that. But when you go to the neighborhoods, the villages, the suburbs, the whole village could be related, so somebody is always over. You're always visiting somebody. When I visit, I go to Lebanon every year since 2018, or before 2018, I would go every year, and it was so cool to like be with my family that somebody was always over. My grandparents, my uncles, my cousins, we were always together. But when I got older and I would visit, sometimes I just want to sit alone. So when I wake up and I hear people like have it like over at like 8 a.m. for tea and they're talking, it's like, I just want to be in here alone. So when I sit alone there, when I'm on vacation sitting alone there, they take it personally. They
Yeah.
say, why are you sitting alone? Are you mad at us? What's wrong? Are you okay? I don't think a lot of them in the villages understand that it's not personal. I just want to sit alone sometimes.
Yeah.
And like recharge, if you will. I don't want to always be talking to somebody. And what they love about them is like they just love community, which I love community as well. But since I grew up in America, I also value my alone time because everybody here also values their alone time and likes to be inside by themselves.
Right. No, it's a very similar dynamic in Pakistan where even when I visit, I don't get alone time. I'm just like going from family member to family member, and sure, my parents know whose house we're going to, but I haven't seen these people probably since I was a child. So it's like, oh, this is your aunt's husband's family, cousin's dog's neighbor. Like I'm just like, okay, cool,
Yeah,
great to meet you, but then it's one thing when you're just meeting one person or one family a day, but then you have such a limited time. So you end up trying to maximize that and meeting
yep,
like 10 families a day. And then they'll all try to feed you. They'll all try to, give you food and tea. And it's great. Like, I really appreciate the hospitality, but it goes back to what you're saying. Like, if I want some alone time, just don't take it personally. And I think it's just
100%.
that slight cultural difference. And then I think even here, there's some things culturally, Pakistani, probably Lebanese as well, where to an American person, they might just be like, "Oh, well, why are you like that, or why are you doing that way?"
Yep.
And it just goes back to we, as first and second generation immigrants, we have this weird balance that we're trying to do, balancing act of, am I American? Am I Pakistani? Am I American? Am I Lebanese? So it is an interesting experience. And I think each person whose roots come from a different country, they have a different experience. Like
Exactly.
Pakistani American is going to have a different experience than a Lebanese American, than a Palestinian American, than an Indian
100%.
American.
Yeah, and it's like in different ways too. And I know that now that I'm older, I want to visit so bad. But work, I can only maybe take like 2 weeks max. So I want to go and visit on my own terms. I don't want to have to spend time with every single person. They want you to sleep at their house. They want you to come over for breakfast, dinner. It's like I'm only one person. I can't have breakfast with all of you. And I also want to experience it on my own. Like I want to go do things in the city. I want to go do things. I have friends there I want to go visit, but it's like they always want to be together, which is like a curse and a blessing, honestly.
When was the last time you went?
Last time was 2018.
2018. Okay. How was that?
That was actually my best experience ever because it was the first time I went by myself and I was an adult, So
Yeah.
going every year before that, I was going with my mom, my sister, my family, and we would just kind of 99% of the time do family things. But when I went in 2018, I had a very nice balance of family and friend alone time too. So it was very cool to be able to get up, take a taxi by myself. Nobody has to say, "Oh, like you shouldn't do that." Go like, listen, I'm an adult. Don't worry, I got it. I have my own money. You don't have to help me. I got it. And it was just amazing. My favorite experience ever.
It's really amazing because you see, like I mentioned before, the over hospitality or the over accommodation, and they unfortunately have a lot less financial means to,
Yep.
you could probably buy all of them lunch or dinner for a long time. I don't know what the conversion of cash and living wages
Oh, it's
in
so bad there.
Lebanon.
We'll talk about that in a
Yeah.
bit. It's terrible right
Yeah,
now.
but in Pakistan, like you can buy. I remember my uncle. It was me and 8 cousins, and the whole table was 10 people. We were eating at one of the nicest restaurants in Karachi, right along the beach. It was this nice,
But it's so
like it
nice.
was so nice, and the bill was like maybe $30 for 8 to 10 people to eat at a nice place, and I was
believe
like,
it.
dude, 1 or 2 meals, sometimes even one meal in the U.S.
Not
costs
even.
$30. Like, let me cover it, and it's like no, and I'm like, dude, this $30 probably you earn in a week, maybe 2 weeks. So it's just the hospitality level is a lot different than it is here.
I completely agree. The hospitality anywhere in Pakistan and Lebanon is like over the top. Even people, I'm sure in Karachi and
Karachi,
Pakistan, they have like bazaars, like we call them, like, the markets.
Yep.
Where you go and bargain, things like that. You can get like a whole outfit, clothes, shoes, accessories, everything for like, to them, $10 is on the high side. But to me, when my cousins come with me, they're like, no, it's not worth that. But it is to me, like $10
Yeah.
to me. But I feel bad bargaining with them because they are so hospitable. They're so giving. And then when you go to like the restaurants, a meal, like you said, like you can get a whole meal for like $3 by yourself. And they just go over the top for that. They give you tea for free. They give you a dessert for free. It's like so much for so little they're asking for. Like in our minds, it's like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
I think it also is in America, for most people, money is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You see the richest people in the world who can fund 10 of their lifetimes still trying to make more money. Why? Whereas in Pakistan, it's in probably Lebanon and
Yeah.
probably other third or second world countries, it's here, this is what I have, this is what I earned, and I want you to have it because this is how I show my appreciation for you. Whereas over here, it feels a little bit more superficial or a little bit more transactional.
Transactional and stingy. Like, I'm sorry, I have to say, Americans,
Say it.
stingy, like very, very stingy. Whenever I go out with my Middle Eastern friends, my Arab friends, my Muslim friends, oh, like, I got it, like, you want ice cream? Let's go get ice cream. Don't worry, a few dollars, I got you.
Yeah.
Same way. But when I go out with my American friends, I remember once, I will never, ever, ever forget this. I was with one of my American friends, white. We were having a movie night at their house. And it was three people total. And the host rented a movie, Amazon movie, $2.99. $2.99. Split it in thirds and requested it from us.
I'm dead.
It's like, I don't know if Americans, I can't comprehend that. It's like, I don't have it in me to say, hey, send me this $1.18.
Yeah. No, it's
like-
crazy. I mean, I understand in certain instances, like if you're on a trip together and then it's like, okay, if you split 20 transactions, maybe each transaction's like a few, $5 or $10,
that's
right?
different.
But then
Absolutely.
it ends up adding up.
Adding
So
up.
you end up having to split everything.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, if you have people over, everything's on me. Like,
Yeah.
food's on me. I'm not gonna hit you with the split or anything like that later. I'm gonna have to fight you.
100%, yeah. And what I actually enjoy about traveling with, whether it's mostly my Arab Muslim friends, whenever we go on a trip together, there's usually one designated person for everything. I'm gonna get all the Ubers at the end of the trip. We'll split everything. I'm gonna get all the dinners. I'm gonna get all the drinks. I'm gonna get all whatever. And then at the end of this trip, we just say, okay, if it balances out, whatever. It's a couple dollars here and there.
Yeah. No, I think we overthink and try to make everything tie out to the penny transactionally,
Yeah.
because that's how these companies, these billionaires, that's how everybody operates. It's all dependent on how does everything add up in the end, the accounting and finance behind it. And I work in finance, so I see this
100%.
firsthand. It's like things need to tie to the penny, and it's like millions of dollars.
Yes.
Why does it have to do that? So
Yes.
what, you missed a few pennies, but
It's bad. Like what makes me cringe the most is if we get a dinner and my half is 26.13, don't request 26.13 for me. Request 27. If you request 26.13 for me, I'm gonna send you 27.
Yeah.
Like just 26, 27. I don't 13 cents really. You have to count that. Like
Yeah. No, I think it just depends on person to person.
Yeah.
Some people, they operate more the American way of like to the penny, and then some people are just like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
And it's just person by person. I don't think you can be too upset at it just because, okay, if they're programmed a bit more the American way,
Absolutely.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand when, if people who have the financial means to do absolutely anything they want, they're still so attached to their money and so attached to the worldly things. And I think even there's a lot of catastrophic events that happen around the world,
100%.
Gaza being one of them,
Yeah.
and now Lebanon, where it's all, you can trace the blueprint back, and it all goes back to what's the financial incentive. Why are these wars happening? It's because company A that sells weapons needs money, so they contract with the US, fund the politicians. I know I did like a huge jump from, splitting dinners to funding war.
Yeah.
But there is like that parallel.
There is, yeah. And then when I say Americans, I'm not blaming Americans for this, because at the end of the day, we're all American, If it gets to that point, we might end up being like that. Like, send me the 26.13. I need the 13 cents. It's the way the system, the government kind of wired our brains to, no penny left behind. You need every penny, and it's just the way life is here. And I can't really blame them for it, but I would never do that. I just can't comprehend.
Not no child left behind, no penny left
Yeah,
behind.
Exactly, right?
The pennies matter more than the children.
These days, it's sad.
No, it's very, very sad. And even you'll talk to politicians, you'll talk to influential figures and try to get them to see, hey, there's a humanitarian issue happening in Gaza. There's other humanitarian issues, Sudan, Congo, now Lebanon. So it's unfortunate that we as Americans, and it's not even like it's a few people, it's hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions, marching the streets in the US, trying to get their voice heard. And had they took action when a few months ago, or almost a year now at this point, storming the streets for Gaza, and they took action and stopped the arms sales, we wouldn't see what's happening in Lebanon right now. So
100%.
it's very unfortunate. And I don't know if you have family there, or
all my family. So I'm from Syr el Daniyeh in Lebanon. It's north by Tripoli. I whenever people ask me where I'm from, I say Trablus, Tripoli, but it's in the mountains of Trablus. So Syr el Daniyeh. Luckily, right now, all my family and a lot of my friends are in the north side.
Okay.
But I also do have a lot of friends in the south where everything's happening. They have to evacuate. But yeah, go back to your question. I do have family there.
Oh yeah. Well, I just realized earlier you were talking about your family there. So yeah, I do know that you have family there, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes you'll have extended or like second cousins.
Yep.
So
like all over.
Yeah, all over. And I'm just, when you see things in the news, you're like, the first thing, like even my friends that are from Gaza, I ask them like, do you have family that's been affected? And they're like, yeah, I have whole lineages of families that, maybe it's a first cousin and their entire family just bloodline wiped out. And it's just very unfortunate. I'm hoping things don't escalate further for Lebanon, but it's the unfortunate reality of the Western narrative of, oh, we have to take care of the extremists by any means necessary, and I just personally think there are incentives of try to propagate and fuel more war. The end goal is that whatever the end goal is, it's going to result in casualties and deaths, and it already has. So many people have died. It's just very unfortunate. So I'm hoping that and praying for Lebanon, and I'm hoping and praying that everybody's like keeping them in their prayers. But I think I do also, I'm not educated enough on Lebanese history or Lebanese history with conflicts in the Middle East. So has there always been kind of a attention towards, oh, what's Lebanon gonna do, or what's from the Western narrative?
Yeah.
Not like from a lens of someone in the Middle East, but more so like, oh, the West. Oh, because it's always like, we're scared of Iran, we're scared of Lebanon, and we're scared of Palestine. It's like those are always the three that have been mentioned over the past, and Syria. Those four have been mentioned as, the problem areas by Western narrative. So I guess my question is, where does that stem from, or like what is the history of conflict between Lebanon and Western interests?
So where do I even begin? Lebanon is very, very tiny. But the population is very patriotic and does not back down. Where it stems from is a lot of things. So in relations to Israel, during the Nakba in Palestine, when Palestinians were displaced, we had a lot of Palestinian refugees. We still do to this day. We have a lot of camps where they live at and things like that. We, as a country, I know we do our best to keep them safe and keep them fed and nourished and all these things. However, as a country ourselves, we have always been struggling. Our currency right now, our currency has always been kind of terrible. We have never really had a government, never really had a president. It's just kind of been the people trying to do things, because our government is pretty, money talks, right. We talked about. So it stems from a lot of issues within Lebanon itself, but then when Israel gets involved, to the West, it just looks like, oh, Hezbollah is a bunch of terrorists, they just want to wipe them out. That's not true, because Hezbollah was created after Israel invaded, after Israel attacked us. Hezbollah is a Lebanese Shia Muslim organization that is a resistance. The reason there's a resistance group is because our government and our military doesn't do much. I want to say they don't really do much. So the formation of Hezbollah had to happen to help our people, to save our people, to protect the Palestinians that live there, protect the Lebanese that live there. Just very much just like Hamas, they were formed after Israel came and tried to destroy everything. There's a resistance group, because Palestine before Hamas didn't have much power and control. They don't have the tools and resources. So of course, these resistance groups have to come together and fight for their country, fight for their people. And right now, just I think a couple weeks ago, Israel has always said it's about Hamas. They want to wipe out Hamas. Okay, they squeezed a million people into Gaza, very tiny place. Why are they still bombing them? Is Gaza and Hamas? Is Hamas in Gaza? Is Hamas in Lebanon? Is Hamas in Syria? Why are you bombing all these places? Because they have a bigger plan that we can get into later. But there's so much financially, like diplomatic issues, foreign, all this stuff where it stems from. And the way the West views it is there's one goal: to wipe out the terrorists that live in their own country.
Yeah. And it's oh, we're wiping out the terrorists, but then when you look at the numbers of how many, even if you label Hamas or Hezbollah or any groups as terrorist organizations, even if they are resistance groups, but if Western media views them as terrorist groups and they target them specifically, the ratios show that you're killing 100 citizens to one member of this terrorist organization. So even if you believe the Western media narrative, it's like they're doing such a terrible job at targeting these terrorist groups, or in our case, resistance groups, because we know that they're there for resistance. So to their own logic, it's like you have to rethink how you're targeting these groups or these terrorist groups. But in the same instance, the people who are still supporting what Israel's doing, or how America's complicity, or anything that America has been complicit in anywhere else in the world, I think it just goes back to underlying racism of not seeing these people, not seeing non-white people as equivalent, as
100%.
Well, that young kid that just got hit by a bomb, he might have grown up and become a terrorist. Well, if you kill his whole family, like, what do you expect? Like, he's going to become a resistance fighter.
And that's, can we blame him for that? We can't.
No one in America has experienced anything similar to having, bombs and different types of missile strikes just hitting them, getting, just at the supermarket casually, and then just having a pager just blow up. It's just unreal things that no American has experienced. But when they hear those things happening to brown and black people, they're like,
it doesn't matter.
Oh, well, yeah, we need to do this operation because we need to target Hamas, Hezbollah. We need to target these radical groups. But then behind the scenes, in the back door, they're like, yeah, we're gonna start selling some of these some land and start mowing the lawn, as they unfortunately say.
100%.
Like, there's a public and a private position, and the public position is still not a good one.
No.
So
I don't want to get too much into this, but if we were all white people, they would care. They would. Nobody would stop talking about it, because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't even really know what's happening. They don't. They just think, oh, like, the big thing is, oh, they're fighting over land. At this point, it's not even land. It's not. It's just like, stop doing what you're doing. Like, when very similar things are happening in Ukraine, pray for Ukraine, because they look white.
Yeah. No, I think, over the past 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, Ukraine's been in a conflict for 8 years, since 2014, and I think the big reason that there's a push on Ukraine is, there's three reasons mainly. They're white or Eurocentric, and they look like American people, so we have to support them and help them. B, America's always had beef with Russia. And it also ties back to, the proxies that they're trying to create with Iran and the greater Middle East. So it's just, everything always goes back to, we have to beat Russia. We have to beat Russia. And then the third thing is, the defense industry needs a place to make money. So they're like, oh, well, if we sell these weapons to the U.S., that's going to then give this to Ukraine as a package, a missile package that they can then use it on Russia. We can create the narrative of, oh, these brave Ukrainian soldiers that are fighting big bad Russia. And this isn't me coming out in defense of Russia. And I think that's why, even when it comes to, electoral politics in the U.S., it's always like, oh, you're criticizing the Biden-Harris administration, and you're criticizing the upcoming President Harris because of her policies on Gaza, which has translated now into a potential war in Lebanon. it's like, oh, so you want Trump to win. It's like, no, I'm not here advocating for Trump. Same way if I say, hey, what's happening in Ukraine
I'm
is,
so sick of that
yeah,
argument. I'm so sick of, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am not going to vote for someone just because they are not white.
yeah,
They at the end of the day, this is my opinion. At the end of the day, they all do the same thing. Everything is, there's nothing. Maybe we should focus on fixing our problems here before we go help other countries or send $1 billion to Israel to go do a cyber attack on Lebanon and kill people.
yeah.
Maybe we should do that and not. My point is, I'm sorry, I get so frustrated with this argument that oh, like you, so you're a Republican, you like Trump. I didn't say no. I hate them all. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't like either of them. There, but just because somebody is soft, well spoken, and is a POC, I'm not gonna just show me more. That doesn't really qualify you to run my country.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's unfortunate that what it's come down to, but it's a very repeat of 2016, where it's like, oh, we have to have the first woman president, and we have to stop this big bad Trump, which I agree, he's a big bad president who, you know, did lots of terrible things,
Yeah,
like
100%.
you know, do tax cuts for the rich, and you know. Killed Qasem Soleimani. So there's like certain things that he's done where, yeah, I'm very concerned about this person's presidency. But in 2016, 2020, okay, lesser of two evils, fine. At this point in time, 2024, the lesser of two evils argument doesn't stand in my opinion. In my opinion, it's just two evils. That's what it is. Right?
I never really understood when people said that. At this point, it's lesser of two. What do you mean it's lesser of two evils?
Evil is evil.
Yeah, like, so I'm.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because, and I think it's working against the Democrats too, because they have this big push of, oh, if we just pretend like Palestine is not happening, or if we just give them lip service of, yeah, we want a ceasefire but bring home the hostages. It's like, well, first of all, Israel is the one that's not agreeing to the hostage deal, and then second of all, you're losing out on so much of the Muslim vote, because the Muslims aren't stupid. They're not going to be like, other than like a select few group of Muslims for Harris, like majority of Muslims are either going to sit home and not vote, or they're going to vote third party. And it's going to happen in all these key swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, like all these states where Trump won by 1% of the vote in 2016. Those same states, Muslim population's like 3%, 4%.
Yeah.
So if those people sit out or they vote third party, well, you lost an election, and then the blame is gonna come back on us.
Yeah, there's so much discourse about like all of that stuff, and I just, to me, a president is a look thing. They don't really have a say in much, like if we're being honest. So anybody can run this country. I can run this country, but do I have a say in what, if I'm president tomorrow and I'm like, okay, stop, let's stop this thing, what's going on in the Middle East? I can't. It's everything all up to people that have money and Congress and the board, whatever their terms are. But being president, like, Biden promised so much, and to this day, we need to do this. We need to give teachers a raise. It's like, what are you doing?
You're in office right now.
Yeah, you're in office. Like, what? Who are? Am I supposed to do it? Am I supposed to give them raises?
Maybe.
You can, like, probably, yeah. You can easily just, I don't know. Muslim motto people, we're just tired, and we are just. What is the point of even voting?
Yeah.
What is the point of even caring about what's going on here when our people are struggling overseas? And living in America, every single day, I feel so guilty. Like, I feel so guilty.
Did you have those thoughts when you said you recently went to Morocco and Turkey, where you're like, maybe I should stay here because at least
100%.
I'm.
And it goes back to the community thing we talked about and the hospitality that everybody there feels so good and welcome. And this might be a root of it. Like being in places like Morocco and Turkey, there is just so much things to do outdoors for free. You don't have to pay to go to the park.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay to do anything. I was walking past fast food restaurants like KFC. They have so much outdoor seating. And it's nice. It's clean. It's nice. And there's so much outdoor seating. And like everywhere just has so much outdoor things to do. And like you walk around, there's a vibe. And people outside, oh yeah, come eat at this restaurant. Here it's just like so, especially as like people that look like you and me, it's just so like people don't even bat an eye. And it's just not welcoming. And there I can have fun and spend money, at least try to have fun knowing that my money isn't going towards that.
Yeah. No, I think there if policy like this continues, it's just, you know, I think a lot of Muslims are probably going to have that same thought, like, and not just Muslims, but people who are allied to you know, the Palestinian cause, the Lebanese cause, or just a anti-war cause, because I honestly think that, you know, at some point there's going to be some sort of revolution that needs to happen. So it's because things have continued to escalate, become more and more corrupt, and it's just become unsustainable. More, it goes back to when we started, we were talking about the housing. It's like, oh, we can't afford housing. Well, housing is a huge need. And we are, you know, amongst like top 20%, top 10% probably income earners in this country, because average income is 50K or 60K in the country, right? Or average household income is like 60K.
That's not even feasible.
Yeah.
You can't live off that right now. You can't. Why is minimum wage in North Carolina $7.25 still? How do we pay our own citizens that? And we have so many problems here, but we have billions of dollars to send to Israel.
Yeah.
Like nobody can explain that to me. I refuse. Like, yeah.
It's all
so mad talking about it. Like
yeah, no, it's all unfortunately connected, and it's like things could be better here, but it's all policy choice. And then it's like some of the money is going to Israel, some of it's going to Ukraine, some of it's going to you know,
what about me?
Yeah, exactly. One thing is the ignorance of, oh, I'm misinformed, but then there's also the ignorance of the uninformed, and the uninformed by choice of like, oh, this is too complex, like I don't care, I'm just gonna live my life and try to become a TikTok influencer and try to really live in that influencer slash celebrity type of lifestyle. And it's very individualistic and not thinking about what are the consequences of my actions or the consequences of my inaction.
Yeah.
Because some people, they're taking action to make Israel stronger, to make the war continue to escalate.
Yeah.
And then there's also the inaction of, oh, I'm not going to get involved in that. Oh, there's hundreds of thousands, millions possibly of people storming the streets for Gaza. I wonder what that's about. I don't really care. I'm just going to, you know, focus on me. And for some people, like if they have a family that they need to support and they're working 2-3 jobs just to support because of how unrealistic the conditions have become, yeah, maybe they don't have the time or the ability to get informed because their priority is supporting their
surviving. It's not even living. It's we're all in survival mode at this point. And what is really sad is that they're struggling, we're struggling, but we also are struggling back home. Like we have that added stress to think about. And what I think the only way to get through to these people is to make it about them. Is to say, hey, do you know that you're working 3 jobs? You know, every tax dollar you pay is going back helping a country that doesn't do anything for us. that's killing people, that's doing this. How does that make you mad? Does that not like? It's something. What's the hardest thing is like when I'm out, work. I work from home, but when I'm on meetings or just around people that don't understand, they can briefly mention it, like, "Oh, how's your family back home?" I can't talk about it because
Yeah.
I just get very I'm like, oh, they're good, they're safe, oh, okay, well, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Let's look at this Excel spreadsheet. Like, it's so hard logging onto work when people ask me like how my family is back home.
Priorities. It's just
Yeah.
the priorities here. You see the problems here. Hurricane, that's what the news is talking about. That's what people are going to be concerned about. But the news isn't talking about the homeless population. The news
No.
isn't talking about, the continued crises happening in America on a scale of, hey, here's the root cause of why everything is becoming shit here. Same thing in overseas. It's like, oh well, Israel is just defending itself, and we're gonna do what we can to support them. It's like, well, what does defending yourself even mean?
Defending
Because
itself from a child that throws a rock and then they send 30 bombs, that's them defending themselves because we pay for that.
I'm at a loss for words just for Lebanon, Gaza at this point. I know we were talking earlier before we started filming, like what got you to start the podcast, or why did you start the podcast? And I always wanted to do it, but then during the when the atrocities started happening in Palestine, that's when I was just like, okay, I need to talk about this a little bit with someone about events happening in the world. And I was hoping that would be like, okay, 1 month later, 2 months later, the bombings in Gaza stop, and then I carry on with other topics. And I keep having to revisit what's happening in Gaza because the genocide is still happening. And now we're at the point where it's at the forefront of every Muslim's mind, and we're living in this our own bubble that all the other Americans don't really see day to day. And the ones that do see it, props to them. Like, great. Like, I see a lot of allies from different communities coming out in support for Palestine and now Lebanon.
So many, yeah.
So
I have like some coworkers in Ireland, and the Irish are very pro-Palestine, very anti-Israel. And they're always like messaging me saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" They know more about the situation than I do, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. That I don't know if it's an American thing, but white people in other countries are more aware of what's going on. That's just my experience because I traveled to Morocco, traveled to Turkey. We did a couple of excursions where we met with people from Spain, people from whatever, and they know exactly what's happening. Yeah. And I don't know what it is about living here that makes people so either ignorant, naive, or just like we said, it could be we have our own problems and they don't have time to really think about that, which I can understand to an extent.
I think we've just been kind of siloed into our own groups, like, oh, you're Democrat or you're Republican. Oh, you're from this community, that community. And the only thing that is uniting us all is that we're American, and we just are no longer able to see that. We have our own dedicated algorithms that cater to us. We have our own media channels that we preferred. Everybody's kind of living in a bubble. Even the Palestinian Lebanese cause, it is a bubble. And I think anybody 1 year into a genocide who's not able to understand that, hey, this is wrong, I honestly feel there's no more convincing. Like, after a year of trying to convince someone of, hey, there's a genocide going on in Palestine, and they still are siding with Israel, they're still not able to see it. Either they're just never going to see the truth because they're blinded, or they do see the truth, but they're putting on a different front of, oh, I have to keep up appearances, whether it's for financial reasons, whether it's for familial reasons, whatever the reason is. rather than standing up for what is right.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I used to be very compassionate. I used to be very, I see both sides, like not in the Israel thing. I don't see both. I see one side. But I used to be very, oh, this doesn't affect our friendship. But it's gotten to a point where, yes, it does affect our friendship. If you don't even know or care to know about what's going on you claim to be my friend, I'm sorry, you're not a friend. Like this is a big part of me. I was born I was born in Lebanon. You know that I have family there. Not once, maybe you ask, oh, how's your family? Oh, you're in my prayers, but you don't really know how hard it is, and you're just going on about your day. It's honestly gone to a point where when people complain to me about their problems, that's not a problem to me. Like it's a problem. Like you said, it's a bubble. It's a problem for you. I'm sorry that you had to go to 2 different Targets to do a return. I'm sorry that you got the wrong order from DoorDash. Like that sucks, but I don't care. Like
Yeah.
I have bigger problems going on in my head.
What can we do? What kind of action can we take? Because you telling me about your family in Lebanon, other guests telling me about their family in Gaza, or just friends that I have that have conflict or war or genocide happening within their home countries. It's like, what action can I take, or what action can you take, or what action can random Joe on the street take to do this? And sometimes we don't have the answers because
I
it's like,
really don't. People, I've actually been asked this, like, what can I do to help? What can I do to support? There's only so much we could do as one person living. You know what I mean? Like you can't, participate in the boycotts, things like that. But at the end, like money talks. It always does, and people win. And I feel so useless. Like I feel like there's absolutely nothing I could do, and it makes me feel guilty. Like, why do I live in this country?
it's unfortunate what's continuously happening in the Middle East. And I think where I'm trying to shift it a little bit now is like within Middle Eastern culture. I know you're a big proponent of Lebanese culture, and you display and pridefully talk about being Lebanese and growing up in or being born in Lebanon. Like, what does Lebanese culture mean to you?
It's literally who I am. Like Lebanese culture could be as little as the words I use. Yalla, kifak sava, like how are you, sava. So we say literally. There's a thing in Lebanon because it's very they speak a lot of French there, so they'll use a lot of French and Arabic, but a lot of them say kifak sava means how are you, how are you? As little as the words I use to as big as me advocating for my country and what's going on. Lebanese culture is the food we eat, the music we listen to, the way we communicate with people, our hospitality, going back to that. And a lot of these things I'm saying, I know it's not particular to Lebanon, but the Middle East, South Asia as a whole, like we're just very hospitable. We have our music and things like that, but the Lebanese way of just how things are there and how we do things, it's just so interesting to me. And I know a lot of people, what is kind of gives us an advantage, I want to say, in America, is that a lot of people would know, oh yeah, I know Lebanese food. I had tabbouleh, I had hummus, I had this. But unfortunately, you can't say, oh, Palestinian food. It's the same thing for the most part. But they're like, oh, what is that? Like nobody really. So people, whenever they have like a Middle Eastern restaurant, they'll say, oh yeah, Lebanese tabbouleh, Lebanese this. And I think it's very cool that we integrated our culture into America as well.
And I think that's very important because that's how people learn about culture. Some people don't care to learn it, but then the people that do, there's so many things that I still continue to learn about Palestinian, Lebanese, and
even me
that
too,
whole
yeah.
region. So I know that there's some terms used for that region, like Levant and Shams. Like, are they used interchangeably, or is there like a specific? Oh, these countries are considered Levant. These are considered Shami. Like,
Yeah, so to get to the like nitty gritty, that knowledge is beyond me, to be honest. But I know they could be used interchangeably because I do that. I say Blad al-Sham, which means like, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan. They call it Blad al-Sham, or the Shami region, and then Levant, also the same thing. And some people could say that some parts of North Africa, like Egypt, are part of the Levant and things like that. But
yeah, because I've heard both of those terms used, Levant, Sham, and I was just trying to make sure that I was using them
yeah,
correctly, because I know that if I want to get it right, but there is that similarity across it. It's like the food, the culture, and one big proponent too is the dabke. And I
yep.
didn't know that the Lebanese dabke and the Palestinian dabke and the Jordanian dabke, like they're all different. And I didn't know that until going to a Lebanese wedding, a Palestinian wedding,
Yep.
and a Jordanian wedding. That, oh, they're doing it a little bit differently. How different? I guess, do you know the differences between the dabke?
Yeah, so to get really into it, I have been doing Depka since late high school, early college days. Back in North Carolina, I had a lot of Palestinian friends. And in North Carolina, there is a Lebanese group and there's a Palestinian group. For some reason, I hung out with more Palestinians. Um, and my friends there, they had a Depka group called Baladna, and a couple of them said, "Hey, come to our tryouts, like come see what it's about." I never really did Depka, like maybe at weddings, I just didn't know what I was doing. And I tried out, I joined the team, and for years we did performances like all over America. We did some festivals, we taught youth, we taught people how to Depka and things like that. And I just really, really, something about it is just so much fun, and I fell in love into it. And uh, I started to learn other countries' depkas as well, whether it was through YouTube or whether going to a Jordanian wedding and just getting in the line with them and seeing, oh, that's cool. Like I'm gonna learn that. I know it varies from region to region. Like speaking and from my experience, Lebanese depka is a little more slow and traditional. Whether Whereas Palestinian depka, to me, it's more jumpy and hype. It's more fun and fast. They both Lebanon and Palestine have both their fast and slow versions of Debka, but the ones I learned are much more fast and hype and just they stick with. So I fast forward when I moved up here to Chicago, I started my company Al Sham Dabke, which is kind of the same initiative back Baladna did, but it's mostly just me right now. I have workshops where I teach a blend of different cultures and different styles of depka, whether it's performative depka, where you get on a stage and you perform, or whether it's wedding line depka that you do at weddings, you hold hands and you kind of just do some footwork. So I started that back in February of this year, I want to say, and I have workshops where I teach youth, teach adults, everybody's welcome. I've had a few universities and high schools reach out to me where I went into have classes there for the students, whether they're like cultural nights or they just want to have a dance class. And it's just been so much fun. And every time I do it, it just takes me back home because listening to the music and just putting it on and really showing people, nobody knows what Depka is in this country. Like my ultimate goal is to get Depka as famous as Zumba, Salsa, Tango, but it's called bachata, that Spanish dance, and so people can know, oh yeah, I know Depka, like I did it, I've done it before. I want there to be classes at gyms where, oh, there's a Depka class at 5 p.m. where they come and just do Depka for an hour and sweat. It's kind of like a Zumba thing.
It is a workout.
It is a big workout. And I try to, that's what I try to do in my classes so people can see, oh yeah, I really love this and enjoy it. And I get a workout and while learning about why we do this and when it's done and how it's done.
No, that's very interesting, and I'd love to take a class one of these
Absolutely,
days.
yeah, it's so much fun.
Is there like an event coming up anytime soon?
So I'm thinking of doing a class within the next week or two. I when I first started, I did it kind of bi-weekly. I started it at a very weird time in my life. I was moving from apartments. It was Ramadan. I was going through transition things in my job. So I back then I was for some reason I was very committed more than now.
Yeah.
I was doing almost bi-weekly classes. They were selling out. I was doing all these events during a lot of the encampments for Palestine at the universities. I was invited to a few universities to come teach Dabke at the encampments and speak about Dabke and just have some workshops, classes, and things like that. So maybe in the next week or two, I'll announce another class.
Okay.
And it's just to what you'll expect in that class, just a blend, kind of like a crash course Dabke. You're going to get performative Dabke, wedding Dabke. You're going to get different styles, fast, slow, jumpy, not jumpy. And my ultimate goal with that aspect is to pivot into more focused classes, like today's focus is just wedding line Dabke. Today's focus is performative Dabke. Today's is Lebanese Dabke, things like that.
No, that's awesome. I always thought the Dabke was just the Palestinian Dabke. I'm like, oh, that's just what Dabke is just that same step. But then you realize there's way more that goes into it, and there's a lot of variations you can throw.
Yes, even in Lebanon, just from the north to the south in different villages, they all mostly follow the same counts, like whether it's like a 4-8 count. But the way they do it, some people use more shoulder work, some people move more with their hips, but ultimately it's kind of the same if you're an outsider looking in, like, oh, they're just stepping around, but there's so much that goes into it.
So your goal is to essentially make Dabke more nationally or maybe even internationally recognized. That
100%.
Oh, people always go, oh, let's take salsa classes.
Yeah,
take Dabke classes. Normalize
it's like salsa is fun. Like I think that's so cool that that culture has came into America and it's widely known. But whenever I say Dabke, they're like, oh, what is that? And then I don't blame them, but it's like, I want that. I think that's so cool. And people that come to my classes, more than half of them are not even Middle Eastern, Arab, Muslim, South Asian, whatever.
Yeah.
They're just from other white, Black, Mexican. They come to my class. They're like, wow, I really love this. And I just think that's so cool.
That's good. So that wouldn't be your first, if Dabke does, or your group or your class does make it viral, does make it out there, that wouldn't be your first viral moment, would it?
Oh, no. I forgot about that. No, it will not be my first viral moment.
Yeah. No, it's funny. The first time we met, I didn't even realize until you followed me, or we followed each other on Instagram. And then Sara told me too, like, yeah, that's Mohamad Zoror. He was that Vine guy. So I was like, oh, dang, that's crazy.
I downloaded Vine. Everybody was on Vine. It was like TikTok of the time. And I just always wanted to be I wanted a viral moment. I wanted to be viral. So I, made some videos and those popped off. And then I had my mac and cheese video that went very, very viral. And ever since then, like it opened a lot of doors in that time of my life, like through social media, through meeting certain people. And I thought it was like very, very cool moment.
Yeah, no, I think that's, it's such an iconic video, especially within the Muslim and Arab community as well, because they're just like, oh, there's that kid. But I think another reason I didn't, if you looked like the way you still did in high school with the Justin Bieber hair and no beard, then I would be like, oh, it's him. Yeah. But I think you just, the different look is why I didn't pick it up. But I think that video will just iconically live rent-free in everybody's head.
It follows me everywhere. Like even whenever I start a new job, there has to be someone that's like, you sound familiar, like I seen you. I'm like, I say the line, and then they're like, oh, that.
You say the line.
Yeah, I'm like,
on the job.
Yeah, like it's not to my manager or anything. It's if I can trust you at work, I'm like, oh, I say the line. They're like, oh, I know exactly who you are. I think it's cool, but sometimes it's like, that's what I'm known for. Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe it was cool in high school. Maybe now it's like you get it every now and then, but
Yeah.
maybe at some point you're like, oh, all right, like I'm more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like to this day, yesterday I was at a comedy show for one of my friends. His name is Ahmed Kadri. He's Yemeni, very very funny comedian. A couple people in the audience after the show, they were lining up to take pictures with him, and they came up to me. They're like, "Hey, you used to make videos, right?" I'm like, "You guys remember that?" Like like to this day, it's here and there. People will either hear my voice or I do an action. They're like, they stare at me like this. I'm like, what? They're like, I know you from somewhere. I say the line and they know.
oh man, what an unfortunate line you have to repeat.
I
for the
know.
rest of your life.
Imagine like if we're at like a Muslim function, it's like I can't say that here, but I did make that vine.
Well, Mohamad, it's been great having you on, and I encourage everybody to continue to just pay attention to what's happening in Lebanon, and then also check out your Lebanese Dabke classes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
This was very nice.
Yeah, thank you.